NYIT is a community service of the New York Institute of Technology.
Covering the news of Nassau and Suffolk Counties, Long Island News Tonight with Ken Eckhart, Carol Peck, and the award-winning LI News team.
Good evening. I'm Ken Eckhart, and here's what's happening. Identity theft is a growing problem, and a Long Island congressman says Medicare cards may be contributing to it. So as Sophia Allen reports, a new bill was recently introduced to protect senior citizens from fraud.
The Federal Trade Commission says 1 out of 5 senior citizens is a victim of identity theft. And in Comac recently, Congressman Steve Israel and other elected officials gathered at the Gerwin Center in Comac to introduce a new legislation to protect seniors from fraudulent activity.
Well, one of the biggest problems confronting senior citizens is senior scams. They get ripped off. Their identity is stolen from them. People get their credit cards. They get their Social Security numbers. And the federal government always says to seniors, never disclose your Social Security number. And yet on every senior's Medicare card is their Social Security number. So this is just plain common sense. Medicare cards should not have Social Security numbers. That would protect 43 million Medicare beneficiaries.
And he says it was a senior citizen who alerted him to the problem.
And at one of my town meetings, a senior said, but Congressman, you're telling us not to share our Social Security number, and here I have my Medicare card in front of me, and my Social Security number is on it. And so this idea, this common sense idea, came not from me, but from the people I represent.
This senior says removing the number would be a good idea and would help protect people like her from having their identity stolen.
Well, I think it would, to take off the card, right? The information, the least information you have on the card, I think is important.
And other seniors say elderly people are often easy victims who don't think twice about giving unknown parties their private information.
I think it's very important that, of course, people don't give out their Social Security number to anybody that wants it on the telephone. And there are a lot of people who are asking for it. And unfortunately, the elderly who just don't think about these things are giving it out.
And I think sometimes senior citizens are unaware. They're just so innocent about it, they can't see that anything is wrong with it.
In Comac, Sophia Allen, LI News Tonight.
A Suffolk County teenager has been arrested in connection with a series of commercial burglaries over the past 2 months. Village police say they discovered evidence of a burglary at a Northport business early Sunday morning. And with the help of a canine officer named Ozzy, 16-year-old Jose Nunez Garcia was discovered hiding in the building. Further investigation linked Nunez Garcia to 4 additional burglaries at businesses in Northport and East Northport, including a bank on Larkfield Road. Nunez Garcia of East Northport has been charged with multiple burglaries. 7 tax preparers, including 4 in Nassau County, have been accused of filing fraudulent tax documents for their clients. The enforcement sweeps also included 2 tax preparers in the Bronx and 1 in Westchester County. Individuals charged include attorney John Bruckheit, a member of the Orange County Board of Ethics, who officials say has now filed returns. In one of the larger cases, an Ossining tax preparer is accused of preparing false sales tax returns for a restaurant in Peekskill, understating receipts to reduce its sales taxes by hundreds of thousands of dollars. Well, chocolate originated thousands of years ago in Central and South Americas as a beverage often mixed with chili peppers and spices. And its popularity spread across the globe after visiting Spaniards brought cacao beans back to Europe. Since then, chocolate has been used to flavor candies, cakes, and more, and is one of the world's most popular treats. Deanne Cohen has more.
A sweet, decadent treat that people have been enjoying for centuries. So it's no surprise an entire week has been dedicated to it. American Chocolate Week began on Sunday, but what is it about chocolate that we love so much? Well, Patrick Quinn of A Meals Candy of Oceanside says he can answer that question.
It brings people to a happy time, and it makes their moods better. It brings something better out in that person that makes them feel better eating chocolate.
According to Quinn, dark chocolate is A Meal's highest selling flavor, but with the many varieties of chocolate, what makes this flavor so appealing?
Dark chocolate leaves you with some type of an aftertaste, and it gives you a flavor of something that you've eaten, and you know you've eaten it.
It's reported the U.S. is expected to sell approximately $18 billion of chocolate in 2011.
So it's obvious Americans love chocolate, but with individuals consuming over 11 pounds of chocolate a year, it can't be good for you. Or can it?
According to studies, eating a small amount of dark chocolate a day can result in cardiovascular benefits, increased brain function, and it may even reduce the risk of cancer. And this is something people are happy to learn.
I think it's great. In addition to the health, it also tastes terrific.
Not only does dark chocolate have a better taste because it stays in your mouth longer, it's smoother, it's creamier, but it helps lower blood pressure and cholesterol.
Chocolate. Not only is it delicious, but it can actually be good for you. So chocolate, America thanks you with an entire week in your name. In Oceanside, Deanne Cohen, LI News Tonight.
It was a down day on Wall Street today. The Dow finished the day down just under 18 points. NASDAQ was down 8 1/4 points, and the S&P was down 4 2/3 points. NYIT's LI News Tonight continues after this.
A Knit and Talk support group for women with breast cancer meets at Adelphi University School of Social Work in Garden City on the second Tuesday of each month from 2 till 3:30 p.m. Pre-registration is required. Call 516-877-4314. Singles of all ages can learn ballroom and Latin dancing at the Suffolk Y JCC in Comac on Monday evenings except holidays from 8 till 9:45 p.m. For more information, call 631-462-9800, extension 206. The Nassau County Museum of Art presents Family Sunday at the museum in Roslyn Harbor on Sunday afternoons at 1 p.m. For more information, call 516-484-9337. And the North Shore LIJ Health System offers a weekly support group for stroke survivors and caregivers in Manhasset on Fridays from 10 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Bring your own lunch. For more information, call 516-562-4947. If you have an event you'd like included on the LI News Tonight community calendar, send it 3 weeks in advance to linewstonight@nyit.edu.
Press play to start your future. Learn the industry. Use the technology. Become an expert in television reporting, journalism, radio, digital film, public relations and advertising, television production, digital graphics, a beautiful state-of-the-art campus, a road to the job you've always wanted, in the media capital of the world. Communication Arts at NYIT. When can you start?
In headlines around the world today, the two-man crew of an F-15 fighter jet that crashed in Libya are safe and back in American hands. A U.S. official said today a Marine Corps Osprey search and rescue aircraft retrieved the pilot. He says the second crew member, a weapons officer, was recovered by Libyan rebel forces and is now in U.S. hands. The crash happened last night after what the military says was an equipment malfunction. Its exact location wasn't given. The official spoke on the condition of anonymity because he was not authorized to speak on record. The operator of Japan's leaking nuclear plant says power lines have been hooked up to all 6 reactor units, though more work is needed before electricity can run through them. The plant's operator announced the hookup today, but cautioned that workers must check pumps, motors, and other equipment before the electricity is turned on. Reconnecting the nuclear complex to the electrical grid is a big step in getting control of the overheated reactors and storage pools for spent fuels, but it is likely to be days, if not longer, before the cooling systems can be powered up, since damaged equipment needs to be replaced and any volatile gas must be vented to avoid an explosion. U.S. and Russian defense leaders in Moscow today say they are still divided over the planned missile defense system in Europe, but will continue talks to try to resolve the differences. The issue was a major topic during a meeting between U.S. Defense Secretary Robert Gates and the Russian defense minister. Gates says the two leaders had an intensive discussion on the missile shield and are making progress. The plan, which is underway, begins with ship-based anti-missile interceptors and radars and would add land-based radars in southern Europe. The missile shield is aimed at countering future Iranian threats. Well, some Long Island youngsters got to see what it's like to perform with the circus when clowns from Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus visited their school last week for a bit of fun. Elizabeth Zumba has the story.
Clowning around is all in a day's work for these performers, who put on a show for students at the John F. Kennedy Middle School in Bethpage. This clown says this is just a taste of what audiences might see in the new circus show, fully charged at Nassau Coliseum.
Definitely we want them to come out and see some of our awesome skills that we have at Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey this year at the 141st edition of our show.
Students as well as their teachers were invited to come on stage and take part in the performance, and this clown says he's delighted that the kids are so energized.
Actually, I like the school, I like the kids, the energy was amazing, so I'm pretty much going to put in a bid to come back here next year.
And while being a clown may look easy, Davis says it requires training.
We did have an institution that was dedicated solely to the art of teaching the how-tos and the know-hows of being a clown with the greatest show on earth.
Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus will be at the Nassau Coliseum in Uniondale through Sunday. In Bethpage, Elizabeth Zumba, LA News Tonight.
Former football star Lawrence Taylor today was sentenced to 6 years probation. The ex-New York Giants football star pleaded guilty in January to sexual misconduct and having sex with the underage prostitute. The girl, now 17, appeared in court with well-known attorney Gloria Allred. Allred said the teenage prostitute wanted to read a victim impact statement, but the judge said victims are entitled to speak only at felony sentencings. Taylor pleaded guilty to misdemeanors. Taylor will also have to abide by the conditions of a sex offender. General Motors says it's halting some production at its engine plant in Buffalo because of a slowdown in parts from Japan. GM is also temporarily laying off dozens of workers at the Tonawanda engine plant, which makes engines for a GM pickup factory in Louisiana. That's closed this week because of a shortage of parts from Japan. GM has also laid off 800 workers in Shreveport. GM says it doesn't know when production will resume in Buffalo. So far, GM is the only U.S.-based automaker to be affected by parts shortages. Ford and Chrysler say they haven't slowed production yet, but are monitoring the situation. Well, we had a mix of sun and clouds today. The high temperature was in the mid-50s. Then for tonight, starting off with a mix of rain and snow, then becoming mostly showers with a low in the low 30s. Tomorrow, snow expected. Could see up to 1 to 2 inches. High temperature tomorrow around 40 degrees. Thursday, a mix of rain and snow, a high in the mid-40s. Friday, mostly sunny with a high in the mid-40s. Outlook for Saturday, again, mostly sunny, high in the upper 40s. And that's it for NYIT's LI News Tonight. I'm Ken Eckhart. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a good night. Say that.